Oh my god. Good thing that I canceled my PTO because hashtag don't quit your day job, because I would have certainly not wanted to see this, and I probably would have got ripped up with a heart attack for such a game like this. But anyways, welcome. This is the Rooftop Sports, and well, here to cover the last few innings of this butt whooping by the Toronto Blue Jays, which honestly, I'm not surprised at all, and I don't think anyone should be surprised. Like, Toronto really came out and really showed that there is a reason why they are the best team in the American League. Like, this was not by accident, and it's not like they were just all drained and everything. And even, yeah, no one should be surprised. But the thing I'm concerned about is they have to win 2 games. You got to get it done. You don't want to go up, you don't even want to go up 3-2. Like, you got to close the door fast, because the Mariners team success right now is dependent on their health. And everything about this team is just too volatile, where I can't trust this team to go back into Toronto, even with a 3-2 lead, and expect to win the last 2 in Toronto, or the last one in Toronto. I just don't want to even think about that. So it seemed that Mariners got off to a 2-0 lead. It was in the bottom of the first, and it looked like Mariners were it was just a matter of getting it done. And then all of a sudden, third inning, 5-run, and they've scored every single inning ever since the third. And I haven't even seen if there are even Blue Jay fans in the stands. And we're back from the break. Now here's the pitch, and that is a strike. And at least going to do the last few innings. I wasn't able to get to the start of the game because of hashtag don't quit your day job. And now the pitch, and that's going to be swing and a miss, and that's strike 2. And it seems like they had more than enough because they couldn't finish the inning. And also what's scary is Shane Bieber is still pitching. They're still leaving him on because he has only 81 pitches. So it looks like he can go one more. And now we're at 0-2. Now the pitch. And that is low for a ball. And I know a lot of Mariner fans may downplay this and say it was just one game, but every game is precious. It's precious. Because next thing you know, now you have the pressure of, as that's going to be outside for a ball. Like, they are going to be under the pressure of, they're going to be under the pressure of having to win tomorrow, or else they will risk it being a 2-2. That is inside for a ball. That's going to be 3-2. I want to agree with you that it's just one game, but the thing is, every game is critical. Like, you want to shut this door as fast as you can so you can get well rested to potentially get to the World Series. Now the pitch, and right down the middle, swing and a miss, strike 3. That's when you know the game is over, when Julio Rodriguez is striking out pitches from right down the middle. And to be fair, Shane Bieber, he matches up very well against the Mariners, and so does Max Scherzer. He also matches up very well. And after that, you got Kevin Gausman. Sure, we weren't going to sweep, but I would have at least liked to see them try. And there are a lot of Blue Jay fans there. There are at least a good number of them. And Polanco swings and misses. No, the pressure is now on the Mariners. Like, Blue Jays are very much back in this series. Like, I said that they were very much back in this series before this even happened. Like, even if they had a 3-0 lead, the Mariners had a 3-0 lead, I still think the Blue Jays are very much in this series, because we have seen teams blow 3-0 leads. Now the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball right to the shortstop, throw to first, and that is going to be in time, and that's going to be 2 outs. Like, no one should be surprised by this. Like, what frustrated me when I was going on the social media and everyone was like, no, like, everyone was like already talking about the World Series. But you never know. Knowing the Mariners and their volatility, they could have very much blown that 3-0 lead. Like, they already are halfway to blowing a 2-0 lead. And Seattle teams have done it. The pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball right to Vlad Guerrero Jr. Toss the first in time, and talk about an easy 1-2-3 inning. And that's going to retire the side. And those were like really, at least that was a really good hit by Josh Naylor, but it was just fielded. And honestly, I am so depressed from this game that I could really use any kind of collaboration. Like, where's Josh? Where did he go? I tried to get Jay Trident podcast, but he couldn't do it. Maybe my negativity really did chase away everyone.
Since 2022, I have been building the Rooftop Sports YouTube channel, and I want to thank all of you for your support and engagement. Without all of you, there is no Rooftop Sports. Now, if you would like to take your support to the next level, join my exclusive YouTube membership program for just $5 a month. Get first access to new videos, ad-free content, and exclusive insights from my fantasy sports, as I do play many fantasy sports leagues. Plus, follow along with my softball seasons like never before. You also get access to my own emojis to use to comment on my videos and my live streaming shows. For just $5 per month, become a bigger part of my community and get ready for unparalleled sports experience. Let's do this.
Well, yeah, so no one should be surprised by this. Like, I figured that this was going to happen. Like, going 3-0 is a really difficult thing to do. I mean, the Blue Jays did not become the best team in the American League by accident. That is just not what they are. And in some cases, that I hate to say it, but Mariners got a lot of graces during this season. The Astros completely collapsed, like really badly in embarrassing fashion, and all the injuries really killed them. The A's are just not ready yet. They're just not there. The Angels, well, at least Mike Trout was healthy, but you can't really expect them to do much in the future. And now here's the pitch to Clement, and that's going to be a swing and a miss, and that is going to be strike one. And Clement is 2 for 3 in this game. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a check swing. And did he go? Yes, he did. That's going to be strike two. Like, just the fact that the Mariners were just not able to fight really says a lot. Like, maybe if the Mariners really fought as hard as they could and tried to be resilient, maybe 12-2 wouldn't be such a thing. And now we're at 0-2. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a check swing, and that is going to be ball one. How's it going, Frostier 85? And now the pitch. And that's going to be reaching out, pop up, and that's going to be a foul ball. And now we're at 1-2. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. That's going to be 2-2. Yeah. But not so good because they're about to lose this game. The pitch, and that's going to be a ground ball foul. And if the Mariners somehow don't give up a run, the last time that the Mariners didn't even give up a run was like the second inning. And that's when the momentum was all for the Mariners. And now it's becoming all for naught as we're at 2-2. Now here's the pitch. It's going to be a foul ball again. Now we're at 2-2. Now the pitch. Now here's going to be a liner to left field, and there's Randy Arozarena making the catch, and that's going to be one out. Now here's the next pitch, and that's going to be a ground ball foul, as that's going to be 0-1. And now here's the next pitch, and now here it is. And that's going to be up high for a ball. And that's going to be 1-1. Now the 1-1 pitch. Now here's going to be a line drive, and that is, or more like a bloop, and that's going to be a base hit, and that's going to be a man on first base with just one out. And it looks like Toronto may actually keep adding more runs. They are certainly showing no absolute mercy. Now here's George Springer. He hit a solo home run and a single and 2 runs. He's been absolutely a contributor to this team. And now here's the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. Now we're at 0-1. Now here's the pitch, and that's going to be a strike. That's going to be 0-2. It's going to be 0-2. And now the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball again. Still strike 2. My PD Master, you're not wrong. So we're at 0-2. Now the pitch. Low for a ball, and that's going to be 1-2. Oh, my God. And it got away, and now we got Jimenez at second base. Where did I get this mask? I don't remember. I don't even remember when I got it. That's so funny. I forgot where I got this. Oh, Mr. Sticky, that is so cute. I love your optimism. I really do. As we're at 1-2. And now here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And that is going to be strike 3. And that's going to be 2 outs for the Blue Jays. La Piedra will be getting the start tomorrow, and some debate that he should have been the starter today. But either way, concerns I do have is that the Blue Jays do tend to have his numbers. And now here's the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball right to second base. Polanco throw to first, and that's going to be in time. And the Mariners get an easy, or no, they didn't even get a 1-2-3. But let me give them a round of applause for getting out of an inning without giving up a run for the first time since the top of the second. And now it's time to sing the 7th inning stretch. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. Well, they already lost anyway, so who cares? For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hello. Oh, no, we gotta go. Yeah. Hello. Oh, baby, said we gotta go. A fine little girl, she waiting for me. I catch up across the sea. And the ship all alone. We never think how I'll make it home. Hello, way. No. Oh, I'm done. Well, although the Mariners are losing this game, there's one thing that's going for me.
Well, at least I'm 2022 fantasy football champion.
There's that. I get to brag about that, right? Right? I guess not. Well, I guess that either that the Mariners 12-2 massacre or the Blue Jays 12-2 massacre is chasing fans away, or my bad singing of Louie is bad, or maybe this mask. But all I can say is Mariners better regroup for tomorrow. That's all I'm going to say. And we are back from the break, and it's going to be Eugenio Suarez up to the plate as we got Braden Fisher. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball. That is going to be ball 1. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that's going to be strike 1. And at this point, we all are just waiting for this game to be over. Of course, I had to come back. I had to come here when it was like a 12-2 massacre. Now the pitch. Now here's going to be a line drive, and that's going to be a base hit. And the Mariners actually get a base hit. And now here's Dom Canzone up to the plate. And now here's the pitch. And that is way low for a ball. And that is ball 1. And now the pitch. Now here it is. And that is going to be outside for ball 2. And that's going to be a foul ball again. Now it's 2-1. Now the pitch. Now here's going to be a liner to right field, and that is going to be a foul ball. As we are at 2-2. And since this game did not exactly, dare I say, as we're at 2-2. And now here's the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball, double play ball, throw to second and the throw to first. And that's going to be in time for the double play. And there it is. We have 2 outs. Now we're at 0-1. Now the pitch. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. Now it's going to be a fly ball. And that's going to be a foul ball. Foul ball. He's out. Never mind. That is true. Kevin Kirby, it's true. Yeah, I know. I hear you, man. I'm going to try to get anyone to join the show tonight. I just need to talk to people. That's all. I don't know. Or maybe I just want to get out of here fast. Epic Sea Films, what do you think? Look at the scoreboard. I think you have the idea. I've been to 2 games this season, but I elected not to go to the playoffs so I can do stuff like this and give people a safe space to vent about this game. I gave up every bit of opportunity to go to this game, to go to any playoff game, just so I could go on content for it. And I could have done everything I can to not do this game. I didn't really have to do this game, but I wanted to because it was for the fans. You have 5 tickets and you didn't want to sweep. You have game 5 tickets, so you didn't want to sweep. Kevin, this is for you. I'm giving this to you.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
This is serious.
I know.
And we are back from the break. And we got Luke Jackson. And oh my gosh, it's gonna be a base hit going into second base, and Vlad Guerrero Jr. And man, the Blue Jays are really showing that they're really showing who they really are. And honestly, I respect them for it. Like they're showing like we're the Toronto effing Blue Jays. We're not some flyby team. And that's going to be swing and a miss, and that's going to be strike one. We're at 1-1. Now it's 2-1. Now here's going to be a ground ball and nearly bobbled by Crawford. Throw to first in time. Now we're at 1-0 the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. And obviously, you can tell I'm just not focused at all for this game. Mariners also their scrubs. Mariners also have their scrubs in, so this doesn't mean much. It really doesn't. Yeah, I know. And I know you couldn't necessarily win forever, and you couldn't get this lucky for this long. But at the same time, the Blue Jays are showing the Mariners that they are the Blue Jays. They are not anything less than that. As now we're at 2-1 for Alejandro Kirk. And now the pitch. And that is low for a ball, and that is 3-1. Now we're at 3-2. And now the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball right to Suarez. Throw to first in time, and that's going to keep Guerrero at second base, and we've got 2 outs. Is this why the Seahawks are more popular than the... I'm not going to say this game alone is the reason why. It's just that Seahawks have much more consistency. That is true, Kevin Kirby. Probably. And now here's Varsho. And now the pitch. That's going to be... That should be a foul ball. No, it might be fair. No, it could have been... I think that'd been a wild pitch. So they're not going to call that a foul ball. But at this point, does it really matter? Like, it's to the point where we should just let Harry Ford play. As we are at the top of the 8th inning. My favorite player on the team is George Curry, but he got his ass whooped. And swing and a miss. That's going to be strike 2. And how about that? The side is retired. And we are going to go into the bottom of the 8th inning. Does anyone sense a 10-run comeback for this team? Anyone? Probably not. At this point, we're just waiting for tomorrow. And at least the Mariners don't have to wait all the way until tomorrow. Like I was feeling withdrawal about today. I was feeling really bad that I missed the game. And, well, I guess it was a good thing I canceled my PTO. And I canceled my PTO for many different reasons. I don't like going to games because I feel unlucky. Whenever I go, they lose. Well, you got to do what you got to do, right? I just don't go to the games because I just don't like. I don't like because I have the option to go to minor league baseball games, and because the farm system right now for the Mariners is pretty good. I'd rather not spend an extra exorbitant amount of money just for that. I'd rather just watch a bunch of young guns and watch some more like small town vibes of baseball. We're coming back in the 9th because this team never disappoints. Oh, Sean, I really love your positivity or whatever it is. And now we got JP Crawford up to the plate. And now here is the pitch. And that's going to be popped up into left field, but it's going to be quite some running, but not so much. And they make the catch, and that's going to be 1 out, just 5 outs away from this being a 2-1 series lead for the Mariners only. But then tomorrow is when it gets very concerning. And I don't want to hear the words of one game because simply only because the Mariners are in a 2-3-2 format. No, a 2-3-2 format. If it was a 2-2-1-1-1 format, then fine. Now here's a Rosarena, now the pitch. And that is in there for a strike. And at this point, I don't even care how the Mariners do at this point. I don't even care how they're being played. Now we're at 0-1. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. as we're at 0-2. And now here's the pitch. Low for a ball, 1-2. As we're at 1-2. Now the pitch. Outside for a ball, 2-2. Well, here we are. Now the pitch. And that is going to be ball 3. Surprised the umpire didn't call that a strike. Truth Nation Uncensored. So only Julio can hit now? Got it. George Kirby is a walking L. Yeah. As we're at 3-2. Now the pitch. And now here's going to be a fly ball to deep left field. And that is gone. That is a home run for Randy Arozarena. It may not amount to much, but at least the Mariners finally get a score. And now it's 12-3 Blue Jays, as that is Randy Arozarena's first home run of the postseason. And you can tell that this game is pretty much lost because Randy Arozarena didn't even do that basketball hoop celebration. So good for him on that. So yeah, it is now a 9-run deficit. It was a nice little home run, but it's still too late at this point. Maybe if they did that, maybe when it was 5-2, I would have felt a little bit more inspired by it, but unfortunately, it just seems very uninspiring. And now the pitch, and that's going to be right in there for a strike. And Randy is even he did do the whole Trident thing. He's kind of like, yeah, whatever. So I do like that Randy was like, well, yeah. As we're at 0-1, and now the pitch, and that is low for a ball. As that's going to be 1-1. And now here's the pitch. And now here's going to be a fly ball to deep right field, and that is gone. That is a home run for Cal Raleigh, back-to-back home runs, and all of a sudden, the Mariners are just waking up on their offense. That's his third home run of the postseason. It is now the Blue Jays 12, the Mariners 4, and at least they got back-to-back home runs pretty. Now it's kind of just entertaining at this point where they're getting home runs when it pretty much doesn't really matter at all. But hey, back-to-back home runs, and it was a nearly robbed home run too. If it happened, I would have just laughed my butt off on that. But they got a home run, and now here's Julio Rodriguez, and now here is the pitch, and that is inside for a ball. That is going to be ball 1. As we're at 1-0, and now here's the pitch, and that's going to be low for a ball. It's going to be 2-0. Julio is 2 for 3 with a 2-run home run and a single. If only the Mariners had done this a lot earlier, it would have been a lot more inspiring. And now the 2-0 pitch. And that's going to be a strike, and you knew that was going to be a strike. Could just tell that it was. Yep. Truth Uncensored. Truth Nation Uncensored says, too little, too late. Only need 9 more home runs. And now here's going to be a fly ball to deep center field, and that's going to be caught right in the marine layer. And it was almost going to be a back-to-back-to-back home run. And I really hate what Fox does with their camera angles. They're just absolutely atrocious. Like, what kind of camera angle was that? But still 12-4. And now we're going to have Jorge Polanco up to the plate. I'm sorry, Leo Rivas. He's pinch hitting. Now here's the pitch. And that's going to be a strike. Maybe there are some Mariner faithful. They're putting their shoe on their head because maybe they still believe. They still want to hang on to belief that this game is far from over, but it's 12-4, so it's kind of too late. Now here's the pitch, and that's going to be a foul ball. But yeah, just to think that Julio kind of almost hit a home run out of there. Leo Rivas is batting .250 in the postseason. He's actually contributed very well, made some of the most clutch hits in Mariners postseason history. As now we are at 0-2 for Leo Rivas. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be low for a ball. As we're at 1-2. And the pitch. In low for a ball, that's going to be 2-2. Mariners are coming back little, but it's a little too late. As we're at 2-2. And now the pitch. And strike three called, and that is going to retire the side. But however, the Mariners do make a little noise by hitting back-to-back home runs by Randy Arozarena and Cal Raleigh. But it may not amount to much at all, as we will go into the top of the ninth inning, 12-4.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
Hello, baseball fans. I'm excited to announce that we are still offering 50% off pizza and 25% off bowling Monday and Tuesdays. Head on over to Snoqualmie Sahara Pizza. This deal will go through May.
And that's how you make a Sahara pizza. Beautiful thin crust.
Well, it's only just a few moments away until, I don't know. Well, we're going into the top of the ninth inning. Obviously, I'm not very well focused on this game because they've pretty much, I mean, look at the Blue Jays, 12-4, and it really didn't have to be this way. I just want to say maybe the Mariners were just tired. I don't know. But to be up 2-0, and the fact that there is somewhere in the back of my mind that they might just blow this whole thing. I don't know. I really hope it's just a bad night, because we have also seen games where, I mean, we saw the Yankees, they had a 3-0 lead, and they just completely just blew it out themselves. So I don't know if I want to count this as a bad night. Maybe this could be a momentum thing for the Blue Jays. That's just what I'm very concerned about. It could be a momentum thing. And that's going to be low for a ball. I mean, the only thing I want to hope is that I want to hope that this was shaken off just as much as the Yankees shook it off in 2001 when it was Game 3 of the American League Championship Series when the New York Yankees lost 12-3. It was like 12-3 or so, or 14-3 Mariners. But it's different times. And now here's going to be a fly ball drilled to right field. Forget about that one. A home run for the Blue Jays, as if they've already done it throughout this game. And now it is 13-4 off a home run by Addison Barger. And the Blue Jays continue to just double down and play no mercy on the Mariners. That ball was just absolutely crushed. And all I can say is Blue Jays are really trying to make this a statement game. They really want to show the Mariners that they are the best team in the American League for a reason. Now, here's going to be a ground ball right to Suarez and the barehanded throw to first. And that's going to be in time. Great play by Suarez, and that's going to be 1 out. Addison Barger just absolutely crushed it out of there. And now here's going to be a fly ball to center field, and Julio's there, and he makes it. And that's going to be 2 outs. And now the pitch. And now here's going to be a line drive, and that is going to be a base hit, bloop single, actually. And that's going to have a man on first base. That is George Springer. Froster, to answer your question, absolutely. I will be back tomorrow for the Mariners game, and I will be able to do it in full. I can take that to the bank. And for the series, and right now, as of now, I am guaranteed 77 games. Could be up to 79, depending how this goes. The pitch, and that is going to be a strike. And I do appreciate all of you for coming on to the show so you can vent and express how you feel. As we're at 0-1, and now the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball right to Jackson, and he's just going to apply the tag, and that's going to retire the side. And now we're going to get into the very next inning. The bottom of the 9th inning, actually. Last try for the Mariners. And you're not going to really expect much, aren't you? It's going to be Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suarez, and Dom Canzone. At this point, let's just let Harry Ford play. Give him an opportunity. See what the man can do. Yeah, Rodney, I don't blame you for feeling it because Canzone has absolutely been terrible in this series or in this entire playoffs, and I don't even want to think about the offseason because I am just so in tune in the playoffs right now. So I just can't feel it. I don't want to talk about the offseason. I just want to talk about Game 4. The other thing that frustrated me, looking at social media, everyone's like, "Oh, World Series, here we come after a 2-0 lead." But I'm like, you got to win your games. Like 2-0 doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. But can we just hope that, well, Mariners got off to a 2-0, or the Yankees from 2001 got off to a 2-0 lead, and the Mariners resilience themselves and won 14-3 on offensive explosions. And it looked like the Mariners were going to be back into the series, but then the Yankees just shut them down anyway. So maybe there's that. Maybe there is a little bit of that factor, but I wouldn't 100% count on it. I really just wouldn't. Or what I was saying was, I wouldn't. Like, I know many people are going to say, well, it was just one bad game, just like the Yankees shook it off as just one bad game in 2001. But Yankees are a different team. Like, they weren't going to let the Mariners even get a chance anyway. And now we are back from the break. Now we got Ernie Clement. Yeah, Chris Hahn. I feel you. And now here is Harry Ford. And hey, I got my wish. Now here's going to be a liner, and that's going to be a base hit. And congratulations, Harry Ford. He just got a single. And now it's going to be a man on first base. And we lost that series. Our bats went silent. I watched that series, and the pitching was not as good. Also, that was a dynasty lineup, no comparison. Well, the Yankees had quite a dynasty lineup, didn't they? And now here is Eugenio Suarez. But yeah, we would hope that the Mariners will be resilient and make sure that they actually get this game. Everything is fragile at this point. The pressure is on the Mariners right now. Now the pitch, and that's going to be up high for a ball. And that's going to be ball one. But yeah, that 2001 Mariners season where the playoffs was very painful, as we're at 1-0, and now the pitch, and that's going to be a strike. Which would be really funny is if Eugenio Suarez hits a home run. And now it's 1-1. And now the pitch. Swing and a foul tip, and that's going to be strike two. Max Scherzer will be on for tomorrow. As we're at 1-2 for Eugenio Suarez. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. You can see that Eugenio Suarez's bat is slowing down. It's really tragic to see how much he has really regressed since he joined the Mariners. It's lucky that he even got 9 home runs or 13 home runs. Max Scherzer. I mean, Luis Castillo's career postseason's a 1.40. Now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Max Scherzer will be going on tomorrow. And Luis Castillo will be going on tomorrow as well. Maybe it should have been the other way around. As we're at 1-2. And here is the pitch. Up high for a ball. That's going to be 2-2. Well, here we are in the American League Championship Series. In case you have missed it, Toronto Blue Jays are up 13-4 after just an absolute massacre. As we are at 2-2, the pitch and a foul ball. It's just really embarrassing to watch how Eugenio Suarez has been for this team. And I don't even want to talk about what the fate of his offseason could be. As we're at 2-2. Now here's the pitch. Up high for a ball, 3-2. And it's going to be a foul ball. And why did Suarez even swing at that? Man, I'm just so checked out from this game. I was checked out by the moment I got on. It was almost like, why did I even get on this show? I only did it just to let everyone just vent. And I'm really happy that I got a lot of engagement out of you guys for a dead baseball game. As we're at 3-2. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss. And that is going to be strike 3. And now we've got 2 out or 1 out. And now up to the plate is going to be Mitch Garver up to the plate, because why not? Because Dom Canzone is just not doing it. Canzone was 0 for 3, batting 067. Consensus say that maybe you should just put Mitch Garver on the team, I guess, because he's batting 333 in the postseason at least. Now the pitch. And that is going to be up high for a ball. As we're at 1-0. And now the pitch. And that gets away, and that's going to be a free bagger. And maybe he could go all the way to third base, and Harry Ford probably should have. Yeah, Canzone really looked lost. I mean, it's really sad because he had an excellent regular season. I really was inspired what he did, that he was able to come back from a disastrous 24 season. And to watch him just do this in the postseason is just absolutely, it's just tragedy. And now we're at 2-0. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball, or is that going to be playable? And it looks like it might be. And Guerrero makes the catch, and that's going to be 2 outs, and the Mariners are down to their final out. And now we got Victor Robles up to the plate. Victor Robles is 0 for 3. Rodney Presho, what do you got to say? You will say what? And now here's the pitch. Now here's going to be a ground ball. And that was right to Guerrero, and that will do it. And the ball game is over. The Mariners completely just dropped it. An absolute humiliating performance by the Mariners, and an absolute annihilation done by the Blue Jays, as now this series is now just 2-1. And now tomorrow, it's going to be Max Scherzer, a longtime formidable pitcher. It's going up against Luis Castillo tomorrow. So the Mariners will have to hopefully, I hope that they just shake this off and then just try to come back tomorrow and win the ball game. The last thing the Mariners need is to have this thing to be 2-2. And even if you go 3-2, you still have to finish it in Toronto. So the next 2 games is absolutely going to be critical, but to make it 1 game at a time, you're just going to have to make it focus on game 4. Don't even think about game 5. I shouldn't be thinking about it. Don't even think about going to Rogers Center. Think about what you have right now is still a 2-1 lead. And you can always just make up for it by winning tomorrow. So you'll put yourself at a 3-1 series lead. That's what the Mariners are going to have to do. And a 13-4 game like this is not going to be acceptable. So that's where it is. And really quick, Randy Arozarena went 1 for 3, scored twice, including a home run. Cal Raleigh hit a home run. Julio went 2 for 4. He actually did his part with a 2-run home run. Then we had Jorge Polanco, who was only 1 for 3. Leo Rivas, he struck out. Josh Naylor went 0 for 3. Ugh. Harry Ford got a base hit. Eugenio Suarez, 1 for 4, including a strikeout. Not exactly a good game. Dom Canzone's just absolutely brutal. 0 for 3. And everyone's saying it. Maybe he just shouldn't be on the roster anymore at this point. Mitch Garver, 0 for 1. Well, it was pretty much a throwaway game at that point. Victor Robles went 0 for 4. And J.P. Crawford went 1 for 3. George Springer, 3 for 6. Lukes went 1 for 6 with an RBI. Guerrero went a perfect 4 for 4, including a home run. Anthony Santander, who was back after a scratch, he went 0 for 2 though, but he scored, so he did walk. Straw didn't really do anything. Alejandro Kirk went 2 for 4. Dalton Varsho went 2 for 5. Addison Barger went 1 for 5. Then Clement went 2 for 5. And then Jimenez went 3 of 5. So from what I heard from this game, it looked like Dan Wilson just kept on George Kirby out there for just way too long. I mean, where was the part where Dan Wilson was intelligently taking out Logan Gilbert a little bit early, even when he especially when he was getting diced up? And then the bullpen, I mean, they didn't even do much better either. They gave up a total of 5 runs, so they did almost just as bad as George Kirby. And all I can say is the pressure is really on the Mariners. Like, you absolutely have to win tomorrow. Like, you just have to. No question. You do not want this series to be tied. And I will just go a little bit far ahead. Like, the last thing we need, even if you take a 3-2 series lead, going into Toronto, you don't want to do that. There's a reason why they do a 2-3-2 format. Now, if it was a 2-2-1-1-1 format, that's a little bit different. But the bottom line is Mariners have got to focus for tomorrow. And I think one of the errors could have been where George Kirby pitched rather than Luis Castillo. Maybe he should have pitched. But George Kirby, he really let it down. Like, after 2 solid performances against the Detroit Tigers, Mariners just became a complete letdown. And let me warn all of you Mariners fans for all of this. Some of you may have been talking about the World Series already complaining possibly about the Dodgers, possibly playing them. Problem is, a 2-0 series lead is not enough of a cushion to say you can say any of that stuff. What fans got to do is they just got to take a step back, take this thing one game at a time, and realize that there is still a long ways to go. Like, the reason why I was concerned going into games 3 and 4, but now just game 3, Shane Bieber has had his number on the Mariners before, especially dating his back in Cleveland. Also, you had some Blue Jay fans. They're still going to be around. Now, they didn't necessarily outnumber the Mariners fans as much. So that's a good thing. But they're still going to be there and being as rampant as they can. And also, the Blue Jays are a number 1 team in the American League for a reason. They didn't get there by accident. And they came a long way, because last season they absolutely struggled to the point that they actually sold parts of their pieces. Like, they sold away Yimi Garcia to the Mariners for Jonathan Clase and other parts. I think that's what it was. And it looked like there were rumors that they were going to trade away Vlad Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette was also on the block. But now Blue Jays were able to resilience themselves into the number 1 seed. And here they are. They have at least taken a game away from Seattle. Now, the advantage is, though, the good thing about this so far, Mariners still have 2 more games at home where they still normally win their games. But they better win those 2 games. And better yet, they better win tomorrow, because the last thing you need is the series to be tied. So at least the one good thing about this game is maybe the Mariners fans will finally realize that you can't just win them all. And 2-0 is guaranteed. Like, a 2-0 lead, it doesn't guarantee anything. It really just doesn't. Which is why you got to take this stuff one game at a time. Like, don't look ahead. You just focus on one game at a time. That's all I can say. Because nothing else is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed. Just because you're up 2-0, just because you're up 3-0, doesn't mean anything. You still have to finish the job. And the late Kobe Bryant, he once said, "Job ain't done. 2-0, whatever. Still got to finish the job." And it's true. So maybe this game, Mariners fans will react in many different ways. They'll just take it as, it's just one bad game. They'll bounce back tomorrow. Or they could also be like, maybe they'll just be humbled and not be talking about the World Series quite yet. They still have to win their games. They still have 2 more games to win. And people don't realize in the playoffs, wins are tough to come by. Like, we saw how tough it was just to get some wins in September when they made their amazing run. They've got to, I mean, fans should definitely understand how difficult these wins are and should not be taken for granted. Like, I certainly did not take the first 2 wins for granted either. I appreciated everything a bit. But it seemed that we may have taken advantage or taken for granted that the Mariners had home field advantage. They stole literally home field advantage away from the Blue Jays. But we kind of figured that they were in due time to explode offensively because they didn't really do that so much. They really didn't do it at all in game 1. And they certainly didn't do anything of explosion in game 3, with the exception of they tying the game at 3-3. But that was the most they ever did. So maybe it was definitely due time for the Mariners or for the Blue Jays to actually get back into the series, which they very much are. And now, before I close, I want to look up the numbers between Shane Bieber versus the Mariners. Shane Bieber is 2-2 with a 2.30 ERA, 49 strikeouts in 7 appearances. So looking at that, he can strike out guys. He's absolutely no joke. He has struck out no less than 3 times just once. His lowest amount of strikeouts was just 3. And the last time the Mariners played Shane Bieber was on April 2nd, 2024. And he came away with a victory with 9 strikeouts. The other games, I mean, they are just way back when. So maybe it's just not a fair assessment. But let's look at Luis Castillo versus the Blue Jays. Let's see where he's at on that. 2-3 with a 4.68 ERA. So that's why I have every bit of reason to be concerned. Now, granted, he had won 2 of the last 3 games, like in more recent times with the Mariners. When he had decisions, they were 2-2. In 24, well, he lost that game. That was in Toronto. But at home, he has won. But in May, he did lose. So, unfortunately, I also expect this game to be very tough tomorrow. With Shane Bieber, usually has good numbers against the Mariners. And Luis Castillo, not really so much. So if you guys want to just shake it off and just say it was one bad game, well, that's your prerogative. But we can't just say it's just one bad game. Mariners have got to buckle down tomorrow and make sure that they don't put themselves in a position to lose. But there is every bit of opportunity for the Blue Jays to make some kind of a comeback, which they can. I mean, Shane Bieber, he has pitched well against the Mariners. And Luis Castillo, he has struggled against the Blue Jays. So tomorrow, I think, is going to be a tough game. Now, I think it might be tougher than today. Like today, the Mariners, they had a 2-0 lead. They had some kind of a momentum. But unfortunately, they just let it get away. Like George Kirby let it get away. Like, he really just did. But now this time, and I really screwed up. I meant to say Max Scherzer is pitching tomorrow. My bad. Yeah, Kevin Kirby, you got me on that one. That's how much I'm devastated from this. So there's going to have to be a point in the show where I'm going to have to make some cuts. But yeah, tomorrow is going to be Luis Castillo versus Max Scherzer. And looking at Luis Castillo, he does tend to struggle. And looking at Max Scherzer versus the Mariners, he has a 4-2 record with a 2.97 ERA. In his last outings, when it was more of the Julio era, struck out 6 batters in 2022. Now, I think the Mariners had won that game. They did win that game 2-1, and they beat the Texas Rangers 5-4, but they were on no decisions. So maybe, just maybe this won't be as difficult of a game, but I think that the pressure is still on the Mariners, whether it's Max Scherzer Shane Bieber, or anybody. They still have got to find ways to win this game. Like, Luis Castillo has got to pitch like he hasn't pitched in the past against the Blue Jays. And hopefully the Mariners can get a hit off of big-time Max Scherzer. And I want to look at Max Scherzer's most recent playoff stats. I'm going to do this before I get the heck out of here because I'm really tired. Just had a long day at work. It really was a long day. And this is where it's at for Max Scherzer. He hasn't really contributed much. I mean, he won a World Series, but that's when he was 34 years old. Now he's 40 years old. So times were different. So his last meaningful performance was in 2021 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. He went 0-1, but he still pitched very well. And then for the New York Mets in 22, he lost his start and gave up 7 runs and 4 homers. And the other one was 7 earned runs in 23 in the World Series and gave up 2 home runs. But just because the Mariners are playing against Max Scherzer, who is pretty much past his prime, way past his prime, pretty much on his way out of baseball, doesn't guarantee anything. You just never know what you're going to get because Mariners are also known to have a very volatile offense. They just are. So that's going to do it. I think I'm going to make a separate post-game video because I really screwed up on my live show because I got mixed up with Shane Bieber and Luis Castillo. But I'm out of here. I just want to say thank you for being part of this show. Thank you for being there. I'm really happy that I was able to provide a place for all of you to express what you needed to express, whether it was positive or negative. I really do appreciate that. But tomorrow, I'll be back for the Mariners game. Very much will be. And we'll go from there. My show will start at 5 o'clock. And everyone, have a good night. And painfully saying, go Mariners. And let me do this close.
All right, guys. Goodbyes only. Don't forget it.
Stop it.
Thank you.